What is up, guys? It's 10VizMan here, bringing another exciting battle. It's been a while, mainly because I haven't Wi-Fi battled in quite a long time. I've been too busy with Pokemon Showdown and stuff. Yes, everybody knows I wasn't really much into a simulator battle until I saw Showdown and I got interested into it. But here we have a UU battle against Jack Free. He's one of my good friends that I like to battle a lot, and he's awesome, just in general. He's got a pretty intimidating team in the form of, Shaman, Nidoking, he's got Ambipom, hit him on top to spin away rocks, and then I've got a pretty nice team myself, including a very nasty Chandelure, and Rhyperior to set up rocks, and a very threatening sub-DD Kingdra. So, without further ado, let's start this battle. And he's going to lead off of his Shaman, predicting my Rhyperior. My Rhyperior lead, obviously, is, and I'm going to lead with my Crobat, expecting him to lead with Shaman, just because I kind of figured that. So he's going to withdraw Shaman first turn, not wanting to take a Brave Bird, and he's going to switch into his Bronzong, knowing he can take any one of my hits. I'm going to go for the U-turn, and because I can get Switch Initiative, and I'm not sure if he thinks I'm banned at this point just yet, because, I went straight for the U-turn. No, he would still do a decent chunk of the Shaman, so I'm going to go switch right out into my Chandelure because, I can friend Bronzong right out because Fire Blast is a thing. So, I'm anticipating this thing to try to set up Stealth Rocks at some point, but I know he doesn't want to take a Fire Blast, so I'm actually going to double switch into my Rhyperior, expecting him to try to trap me with his Houndoom, because Houndoom just traps Ghosts and Psychics all over the UU tier. That is exactly what happens as he brings in Houndoom, which is great for me. I don't usually make plays like that, so I felt pretty good about myself there. He's going to be forced to switch, and this is a perfect opportunity for me to set up my Stealth Rocks. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, is he brings back in the Bronzong. And now here, I'm predicting him to set up rocks as his own, but I do carry that Magic Bounce user in the form of a Xatu, so that is exactly what I'm going to do. Switch out into Xatu, hopefully block the Stealth Rocks, but here he predicts that pretty nicely, and he actually just goes straight out for the Gyro Ball, which is fine by me. Xatu can take a few hits, so it's not too big of a deal, and it does a pretty decent chunk, about a third, I want to say. But, Xatu's defensive and all that, so it can take a few hits, and now he's actually, after the leftovers recovery, there's a lot of recovery in this battle, I warn you, but, he's going to withdraw and try to go back into Hounded to try to trap my Xatu, but, seeing that I can do nothing really to hurt that, Bronzong, I'm just going to go straight out for the U-turn and, get some more Switch Initiative going, so it's pretty annoying with just, Xatu and, Crobat U-turning everywhere, but, now I feel, pretty safe to go back into my Crobat, knowing I can outspeed Houndoom and try to kill with a Brave Bird. That's exactly what I tried to do here, just because it's probably my best play at this point. I mean, U-turn's not going to kill, but I want to see that Houndoom dead, because it does threaten my two Dark Weak Pokemon. So he goes back into his Bronzong, predicting the Brave Bird, and that is exactly what happens. Pretty nice play, and, it does a little bit, but that's about it. But here, it's revealed that I have Black Sludge as my item, so I'm more of a supporting set. I guess he didn't see that, but, because it's Black Sludge and not Leftovers, it's more obvious if you have, you're holding Leftovers. But, I'm going to go for the Taunt here, predicting him to try to set up Stealth Rocks, because, it's probably what it's what it's here for, I assume, as he actually tries to go for Toxic, predicting me to U-turn. So I guess he thinks I was probably banded until that point, but, anyway, knowing that he can't really do anything, knowing that I can't really do anything, I'm going to go for the U-turn and switch out into my Blastoise, probably predicting I think I was predicting the Gyro Ball here, and knowing that he can't Toxic me puts me in an even better position. So, I'm going to go into Blastoise, and he goes for the Gyro Ball, which isn't going to do very much to my max defense Blastoise, because, it's resisted hit. It does about 30 damage, which is nice. Get some nice Leftovers recovery, and, I just wanted to try to burn whatever tried to switch in. I mean, the Shaman switch in was kind of obvious. I could have done another double switch in, but I decided, I was against that, and just go for the Scald and see what I can burn or whatever. So, that is exactly what happens. Goes into Shaman, and, gets hit by Stealth Rocks. I'm going to go straight off for the Scald. And it's not going to do too much damage just because, my defensive Blastoise. But I do get the burn, which is kind of irrelevant due to the fact that it's got Natural Cure, so it doesn't matter too much. But, it's a burn, so burns are always annoying, even if you can recover them. So here, the Seed Flare is pretty obvious, so I'm going to switch out into my Crobat, but he predicts that very, very nicely. He's actually going to go for the HP Ice, which it's going to do a pretty hefty chunk to my Crobat, and, basing from the damage and seeing after the damage there was no Life Orb recoil, I'm pretty safe to assume this is a Spec Shaman. And Spec Shaman's actually a pretty underrated threat. It's got a, pretty decent coverage, and it's quite powerful. So, here I could have tried to finish it off with Braver, but I wanted to keep my Crobat alive. So here, regardless of what happens, I was going to Roost here because I knew that, his HP ice wouldn't be killing me because I would lose my Flying type. So, I'm just going to go straight off for the Roost and, recover all that HP back. So Crobat's here to take some more hits. This Crobat's kind of interesting. It doesn't have max speed, but it's a new small gun standard. It's got, some speed investment, some attack investment, and then some HP investment. So, pretty good set. I like it. But, goes back into Bronze. I'm predicting probably another Braver to U-turn. But, my biggest problem with this team is it doesn't carry, a very easy way to destroy Bronzong. Bronzong is such a big defensive tank. I don't really have anything to easily take it on except Chandelure. So here I'm just going to U-turn, not bother taunting this turn. I'm just going to go straight out to my Chandelure, expecting him actually to taunt, or especially expecting him to Gyro Ball because, he probably predicted the taunt. And Gyro Ball would have done a hefty chunk to my Crobat, but the Gyro Ball still does a pretty heavy chunk to my Chandelure, probably because it's, a Scarf Chandelure. And, here, it's kind of obvious that, the Fire Blast is still pretty obvious. I know he's going to switch into Houndoom here. So what I do is I go for the Shadow Ball. And from that range, after Stealth Rocks, Shadow Ball will easily take out Houndoom from that range, which is great. I don't have to worry about Houndoom anymore. So I really played around Houndoom nicely. I'm pretty proud of myself for those plays. So Houndoom goes down, and now I have a Chandelure locked in the Shadow Ball, which isn't too big of a deal, but he brings in an Ambipom, which is a big deal because I can't touch it. So even though he really can't touch me, I'm trying to force a switch. I was kind of fearing the Pursuit, but he doesn't have Pursuit, so just going to the best bet, which is my Rhyperior, which can take pretty much any hit that Ambipom has to offer, as he goes for the U-turn himself, which gives him the switch initiative, which isn't too big of a deal, but, Rhyperior is just a steady duck at this point. So, but this Rhyperior is actually more of a defensive build, too. It's got over 200 special defense. It's pretty heavily invested in special defense, meaning it can take some, neutral special hits and even some super effective ones, which is pretty nice. But here, I don't care if he goes for the HP Ice. I just want to keep my Rhyperior safe because I knew it walls a pretty decent portion of his team. So I'm gonna switch out, go back into Crobat, and here he actually does go for the C-Flare, not wanting to overpredict. And of course, that's gonna do diddly to my Crobat, which quadders this grass, of course. So that's awesome. Crobat gets pretty nice, and that's pretty awesome. So. But he's pretty much forced to switch. He withdraws Shaman, goes, I think, back into the Bronzong, which is proving very much to be an annoyance. But, that's in the game and stuff. So, just going to go for the U-turn here, knowing that the Bronzong switch is pretty darn obvious. So, and now I'm going to go back into Chandelure because now that Houndoom is gone, I can friend any member of his team of a Stab Fire Blast, which is pretty darn awesome. So, he wants to keep his Bronzong alive. I think he's aware that his Bronzong walls a pretty large portion of my team. The only one that can really neutrally strike it is my Kingdra. I want to save that for later as he brings out his Hitmontop to take on a Fire Blast. And, seeing Intimidate, I can honestly tell it's defensive. So, I wasn't really sure if Fire Blast would kill. But, it does a very, very, very nice chunk to this Hitmontop. But what sucks for him is I do get the burn, which, is extremely unfortunate. It's only a 10% chance. And I want to say that burn mattered just because, well, it didn't really matter. If it didn't burn, I was going to switch out anyway, predicting the Sucker Punch. But I know I can take one Sucker Punch now, especially since he's burned. So I'm just going to leave in Chandelure to take a Sucker Punch. Doesn't do too much. And I just proceed to finish it off with another Fire Blast. So, sucks for the burn, but again, didn't matter too much because I just could have switched out Chandelure to avoid the incoming Sucker Punch. So, down goes to Hitmontop, and now he brings out a humongous threat in the form of his Nidoking. But, I don't really care if Chandelure dies at this point. I mean, Bronzong's still a huge threat, but I've weakened it to the point where my Kingdra can finish it off from there. So I'm just going to go straight up for the Fire Blast, and much to my surprise, it actually OHKOs it after Stealth Rock, which is very nice. So down goes Nidoking. Chandelure has netted 3 kills this game, which is pretty freaking awesome. And out comes Bronzong. But unfortunately for me, Fire Blast is going to miss every now and then. Unfortunately, this is a unfortunate position where Fire Blast has missed. So he's going to proceed to take out my Chandelure with an Earthquake. So that kind of stinks. And down goes my Chandelure, which was my best bet to use against Bronzong. But that's fine. And now I'm just going to go into my Kingdra. I really don't care if he sets up Stealth Rocks at this point. I still have my Blastoise anyway to Rapid Spin him away if need be. So I'm just going to go into my Kingdra, my late game sweeper. And particularly the Toxic, going to go for that sub, because sub DD Kingdra is such a threat, as he does go for the Toxic, and of course it's not going to work under my substitute. So I'm now pretty free to set up Dragon Dances and stuff. So, but you know, after all the leftovers and stuff, wow, so much leftovers recovery in this battle. But just going to set up a Dragon Dance because definitely the best plan. Kingdra's probably going to sweep this team, so. But what caught me off guard here was that he actually carries Reflect on this Bronzong, which means this Bronzong didn't have Stealth Rock the entire time. And I'm like, are you kidding? But it's not. I don't knock it too much. I was just, you know, completely caught off guard by it because now I'm back to neutral attack essentially. I didn't want to bother continually setting up, so I just wanted to go straight off for the Waterfall, which is exactly what I do here. Just my plan to just continually wear it down because, you know, it doesn't have auto recovery. If it did, it'd still be OU in my opinion. But I'm just gonna go for the Earthquake, trying to break my sub. It does not break my sub after 1, which is very nice for me. Kingdra has very, very nice natural bulk, so I could take an unstabbed Earthquake or 2. So the Waterfalls are bringing it down to a slightly lower range, but you know I gotta hit it with like 3 or 4 more. So just keep going for those Waterfalls. And, you know, probably another one will bring it, probably KO it from that point as he proceeds to break my substitute of the another Earthquake, which, you know, isn't too big of a deal. I can continually just set up substitutes because, you know, I have enough HP. I've been recovering enough to easily set up at least 4 more, so. But he apparently did not want, or he had apparently expected another for me to try to use a Waterfall again as he brings out Ambipom, which is why he switched out here, hoping to get a fake out on me. But I do the safe play and just go for the substitute because I didn't want Kingdra to be toxic. So that's exactly what I do. And, you know, with the Reflect still up, I knew a Waterfall wouldn't kill Ambipom from that range. So that is exactly why I decided to sub at this point, as he goes for the Technician boosted fake out, which breaks my sub pretty darn easily. And I'm just going to go for the Waterfall because, you know, it's safe stab and all that stuff. Didn't really want to lock into Outrage just yet. Considering the fact he still has Bronzong, I think that definitely can take an Outrage from that range of health after it reflects this up. So, you know, Waterfall brings it to a very tiny sliver, and now the Reflect wearing off, I pretty much got this game in the bag because Kingdra is just going to proceed direct train, knock it out, finish off that Ambipom of a Waterfall, and then, you know, it's stuff and stuff. So, now it's got left is Bronzong and Shaman. And, you know, I was pretty sure an Outrage would finish off Bronzong from the range it's at, but he decides to bring out Shaman just, you know, first, I guess, to die. But now we can all bear witness to the amazing Black and White 2 animation of Outrage, which is freaking amazing, by the way, as Shaman goes down, and now, of course, all he has left is the Bronzong. I mean, it felt pretty good, this battle 5-0, just because, you know, I haven't Wi-Fi battled in a long time, and Wi-Fi battling, I've learned, is actually much more competitive in some ways, just because you don't have you have team preview, but you know, you don't have a constant reminder of your opponent's team unless you write it down. So, pretty nice to win this match 5-0. Really good game, Jack. I hope you guys enjoy this match. And hopefully there'll be more in store soon. I hope to get some more Wi-Fi battles eventually, but until then, guys, hope you enjoyed. Rate, comment, sub, and later, guys.